Hi, this is Eddie Hearn and you're watching Lights Out.
This is Lights Out, I'm FAISAL Khan. I'm delighted to be joined by Mr. Dominic Ingle. We're here at the press conference for the Royal Albert Hall show on Friday night. First of all, Dominic, how you doing?
I'm good, mate, I'm good.
Dominic, I just want to start off this interview by, paying my respects, commiserations to Brendan Ingle, who's your father. Just talk to us about what legacy your father's left behind, what he represented, and what it was about Brendan that stood, that was different to other boxing trainers.
Have you got a couple of hours, yeah? It could take a long time, though.
You take as long as you like.
Yeah, he represented a lot of different things to different people. For some people he was a mentor, some a boxing trainer, priest, father, uncle. He looked after more than boxers. The kids around the neighbourhood, he guided them. And they all had a strong affinity with Brendan around the village of Eubank. The gym was a focal point where these kids came in. Sometimes they came in, maybe for a year or a couple of months, and they went on to other things. They didn't necessarily become boxers. They might have just done well in education, and they give them all the lecture. And thousands of kids over the years, passed through that gym and went on to bigger and better things. And that's basically the legacy that he's left. Getting kids to move from one place to another successfully. And at the bottom of the road, before you get to the gym, there's two big stone sculptured boxing gloves and a big quote saying that get an education, don't let anybody control your life, be in control of what you do. And that was basically what he was all about. He came over from Ireland with no education, settled in the village of Eubank and made a big name for himself, which was worldwide. So we've had numerous champions, boxing champions over the years, and we're aiming to carry that on. We're doing well. It's almost been a year, in May since he died, and it's a big sense of loss. But we're keeping the work on, which he would have liked, and he would have liked to look at the success that we're having. And it's just a shame that he's not going to be around for the Galahad Warrington fight. What's going to come up. I think he wanted to, see Barry become world champion. We spent a lot of time with Barry, so yeah, there's lots of memories and things to look back on, and we just have to keep his memory going.
Excellent, well said. I mean, obviously a very iconic figure in and out the ring, Brendan Ingle. I grew up watching him with Nazim Hamid, Johnny Nelson. So yeah, I know what he was all about, and he was a tremendous man. And yeah, you mentioned Kid Galahad. Where are we with the fight with Josh Warrington? Where are we in terms of that fight happening? Has there been a date set? Has there been a
the date's going to be sometime in May. We're just waiting for Frank Warren. I've spoken to him today, Frank, to finalise what the date is. I understand it's going to be in Leeds sometime in May. So it's just to find details now, and hopefully that's going to be announced after this bill on Friday, after this fight. We've got a press conference arranged for next week, I think, so obviously I'll probably see you there. And it's all going to be announced, then, and we're on with it. So yeah, looking forward to it all.
Going into that fight, obviously off the back of what Josh Warrington achieved last year, winning the world title in his hometown in Leeds and then beating Carl Frampton, what do you think it'll take to beat Josh Warrington with them last two performances?
He's riding the crest of a wave at the minute. He's on a good roll. He's beat Lee Selby, he's beat Carl Frampton. He didn't beat a peak Lee Selby and he didn't beat a peak Carl Frampton, but he beat him nonetheless. And it's different. He's going to be fighting a peak Kid Galahad. And they crossed paths before in the amateurs when Josh was much more experienced than Galahad, and he won. And they sparred a few times professionally, so we'll see. But I'm confident that it's going to be a very, very tough fight, and at the end of it, Galahad's going to win. So, and I think Josh Warrington knows it's going to be a tough fight. A lot of people think it's going to be a one-sided beating, from Josh. And there's going to be people around him telling him that, but I think the only man who does know how the fight's going to go is Josh Warrington, because he's been in with Galahad before. So it's an interesting fight, it's going to be difficult for Warrington to get up for it because he's been in with the big names. He's beat the Selbys and Carl Frampton. He obviously wants to go to America. There was talk of him going to America and unifying the title, which he didn't get. And when you reach that point, when you become world champion, and you want to look for the big fights, you don't want to look in behind you to the challengers who are challenging for your belt. You want to be unifying. So I think to get that extra motivation, that extra drive, and it's going to be difficult for Warrington, to get. It's a lot of risk for very little reward with this fight. He's not going to get, if he beats Barry, people will say, well, yeah, he should have beat him, and if he struggles or he gets beat, it's going to tarnish what he's done. So really, it's not, probably not the fight that he wanted, but that's how he got his chance against Lee Selby. He became the mandatory. And he got his chance, and he took the chance. So we'll all wait for that fight. Everyone's going to have their opinion on it, but I'm 100% confident that Galahad's going to win that fight.
Excellent. Battle of Yorkshire is one that we're really looking forward to. Talk a bit about your man Liam Williams. Do you think Joe Mullender was playing mind games downstairs in the press conference? I know you had a bit to say.
Well, I've seen films where, you know, Jason Statham's made them kind of statements, all calm, and then he's going to beat somebody up. So when I listen to Joe, that's what it reminds me of, like a version of Jason Statham, and you know, playing it cool and playing it down. And I've seen this situation before, and you know, I know for a fact this is Joe Mullinder's world title fight. It's probably what he's been dreaming about for a long time, and he's going to go in there and give it all he can. You know, he can give. You know, he's going to take Liam Williams into the trenches. He will. You know, he'll try and take Liam Williams into the trenches. But when he gets into those trenches, Liam's going to bury him anyway. But he's going to give a good go. It's not going to be an easy fight. You know, I know it's not going to be an easy fight, and we aren't prepared for an easy fight. I said to Liam, you know, don't let your guard down. Don't think this is going to be a walk in the park. It's going to be a hard fight for 6 rounds. I said, you've got to do everything correct. I said, because the longer this fight goes on, it's going to be harder for you. You know, everybody's expecting you to do a job on this kid. All the pressure's on you, not on him. You know, he's not expected to win. You know, at one point in that press conference, I thought, you know, Joe's going to get up and give Liam a big cuddle and a kiss. You know, it was getting a bit like that way, but you can see Liam's, you know, a bit annoyed and saying to him, have a bit of pride. You know, you want to come to win. So we'll see. It's going to be a good fight. I think personally, if Liam does everything right and sticks to the plan, he'll stop Mullinder within, you know, 6 rounds or so. But he could quite easily go to points because, like I say, I've seen people raise the game. You know, the level Joe Mullinder's at. I've seen people raise the game that much. They've actually got through a 12-round fight and give a good account of themselves. I've seen it, you know, more times than not.
I know you can't look too far ahead of Joe Mullinder on Friday night, but what is the plans with Liam if he can get the victory on Friday night? I
think we just got to keep beating who's put in front of him. You know, he's 26, going on 27. I think he's 27 in a couple of months' time, and he's had a lot of you know, time out of the ring in between fights, and he just needs to get some momentum. And you know, when he first got offered this fight, he said, well, I'm not really up for this. He said, just fight who's put in front of you. You know, get the belt, win it outright. And you know, ultimately, I'd like to see him move down to light middleweight and box for a world title there. That's where the ultimate goal is, because he's a big light middleweight. You know, he's making the weight comfortably at middleweight, but it will be a struggle getting out to light middleweight, but he can do it. He's got the discipline. I've seen him train. This is the 3rd camp we've had together now. I know what he's about. I know what buttons to press. He's happy what he's doing. He knows he's in a good place, getting looked after, and a good crowd of kids up in that Ingle gym. So, you know, I think he can, within the next 8 to 10 months, get this British title belt out of the way, get it, you know, to keep, and then start looking for fights at light middleweight, or you know, the WBO light middleweight title.
And of course, Billy Joe Saunders in April goes for the vacant WBO super middleweight title. Just first explain to me, what was the reason in pushing Billy Joe Saunders up to super middleweight? Well,
I think it's just opportunities. It wasn't my choice, but you know, Billy can fight in between. He could actually probably fight at light heavyweight if he wanted, but you know, he's a very big middleweight. He's a decent sized super middleweight as well, and I think, you know, moving up from the middleweight title straight into a vacant slot for the super middleweight title is probably a good move. He can always move back down again, and I think with him, he just needs a challenge of a world title. That's what he needs. He don't want to be boxing, going back down, you know, ladders and levels. He wants to keep, you know, something to motivate him and inspire him, and that's where he's at the minute. And I think after the Lemieux fight, he just wanted bigger fights. I don't think the Martin Murray fight inspired him, and you know, he let that go 2 or 3 times. I just think he wanted bigger fights, and he's 29 now. I think he's coming up for 30 this year, so he needs to get his skates on a little bit. But he's in the gym, he's training, he's probably 70-80% fit. He just needs a date now and a fight to, you know, to make him switch on properly.
When you look at the challenge that the talent that he has, the skills that Billy Joe Saunders has, would you be expecting him to, if he wins the vacant WBO super middleweight title, would you be expecting him to get in the ring with Demetrius Andrade next?
As I said, I don't know the politics of it all. I think, you know, you just take the fights. Where he's at is that he just needs the fight that's going to motivate him to fight. He wants to be putting dangerous, hard fights. What's going to scare the life out of him? He's going to perform, because that's where he needs to be. And that's where you get when you get to 29, 30 years old. It happened with Kell Brook. You know, the reason why he took the Golovkin fight, because he needed to put himself in a big fight. He didn't want to fight these Mandry kids who nobody had heard of. He wanted the challengers, and nobody was challenging him. That, you know, we didn't have the Thurman or Garcia's challenging Kell Brook at welterweight. So he just moved up and took a fight, you know, to challenge himself. And that's what you've got to do in boxing. You've got to have some kind of motivation and fear when you get to that level. So we need a big fight for Billy Joe Saunders, basically, whether it's Eubank or the vacant super middleweight title or whatever it is. That's what we need. We need a big fight.
And there's obviously talks about a potential rematch with Chris Eubank Jr. Now, being Billy's trainer, and if he can win in a couple of weeks' time, win that title, is that the fight that you'd want to see him in?
Listen, yeah, he'd fight Eubanks again, and I think Billy went into that fight 50-60% fit, and Eubanks probably trained out of his skin, and Billy still handled him enough, and Eubanks couldn't capitalise on that. So I think as Billy is now, I don't think Eubanks gets anywhere near Billy Joe Saunders. He's had a good win against James de Gale, but Billy's a different fighter. Billy's a different southpaw. He's not worn. He's not had a lot of damage or ring wear and tear. And as you've seen against when he boxed in Lemieux in Canada, when he puts it together and he's fit, he puts on masterclasses, and I think it would be a one-sided beating on behalf of Billy Joe Saunders if he fought Eubanks again.
Final question. Just want to ask you about your thoughts on Tyson Fury signing with ESPN and Top Rank. What do you make of it? And people saying that he's kind of ducked a rematch with Deontay Wilder.
I don't think if there's going to be any ducking in a world title fight, I don't think Tyson Fury is the one doing the ducking, is he? When he went into that fight off a really two just steady performances on his comeback, having all that time out, all the mental issues, the weight issues, having 2 fights back against non-opposition, and then putting on the performance against Deontay Wilder, I don't think ducking is in Tyson Fury's vocabulary, really, is it? What I mean? So whichever way it is, Tyson Fury is a boxer. He's got a certain amount of time, as most boxers. When it comes down to it, it's all down to the money. And if one TV station is offering a load of money, then that's what you're going to do. You're going to take where the money is, and if they want to make that fight with another TV company, we'll leave that to them. Tyson Fury's there to do the boxing.
Dominic Ingle, pleasure and privilege to have been given your time today. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Good luck for Friday night, and we look forward to speaking to you again sometime.
Thanks a lot.
Dominic Ingle, thank you very much for talking to Lights Out.
Cheers.